RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 9, As Above, So Below, has officially released. So let me break it down for you. So it turns out what Watts did at the end of last episode was not create Swinter similar to my heroes Phineas Flynn and Ferb Fletcher. Rather, he turned off the heat, and everyone's getting cranky that there's no air conditioning. Meanwhile, with Ironwood, very enthralling plot is unfolding before us, such as the talk of checks and balances. Very captivating, please tell me more. The dog pile only continues further. Nobody trusts him, he's being shady, all the greatest hits of all. But Robin escalates the situation, saying that they should use her semblance to uncover the truth. But apparently Weiss has been waiting outside the door with her ear pressed against it for a while now, just waiting for the ideal opportunity to make a dramatic entrance and say, "Objection!" Weiss has skimmed through the footage and has found her father's conversation with Watts. So she shows it to the council, and what does Jacques do? Well, much like a lawn chair, he just folds. He tries to book it, but is caught. He says how he only wanted a seat on the council and tells everyone that Watts has access to all of the things that he had access to. But because Watts unironically changed the password on the account, they can't get to him. I think Jacques has learned a valuable lesson here. No more account sharing. Willow, you're gonna have to get your own Netflix account. I know you're on episode 3 of The Witcher, but if you want to finish it, you're gonna have to cough up your own money. Whitley, your Spotify bill is now on you. No more piano music. Lesson learned. Jacques walks free. I'm just kidding, he's arrested, and we get a sad shot of Whitley to show how sympathetic he is now. I am waiting for a moment in this show when an antagonist's back is against the wall. There's nowhere for them to go. It seems like bam, checkmate, it's all over. But they do something where they keep their composure, and I can sit back and think, wow, that was smart. Because quite frankly, that's never happened in this show. The antagonists are so bad, and not a one of them is capable of keeping their composure. Instead, especially here, it's just like, bam, you're caught. And then for whatever reason, they turn into the Tasmanian devil and can't speak and just go like, well, it would seem as though the jig is up. I better skedaddle. In all honesty, I think this scene would have been much more rewarding if the moment Weiss showed the footage to everyone, he denies it. Cause why shouldn't he? Cause at that point, what's her comeback? Well, we've got you on footage. At that point, it's all about trying to muddy the water. He could say how he has footage of Penny murdering a dozen people. Thus, if that was faked, why couldn't this have also been faked? It would undoubtedly spread uncertainty amongst the other council members, and that whole lie detector thing Robin was about to do on Ironwood could have had some real payoff, thus literally catching Jacques red-handed, because at that point, there's nothing he could have done. All of his options would have been exhausted, it'd have added a bit more tension to the scene, and not come off as weirdly wacky. Like, Jacques is not a comedic antagonist, but there was oddly a lot of comedy surrounding him this episode. But that's not to say that I dislike his overall role that he had in everything, which ultimately was nothing, and I really like that. He wasn't like, oh, I'm aware of Salem's plan, and I will have my spot as one of the rulers of the New World. He was just like, I just wanted to see it on the council, a job that probably all of 5 people want. He was a pawn, though I can't help but feel it came to a bit of an abrupt end. Like, I get it, he's not the main antagonist, Watts and by proxy Salem is. But Jacques provided a very unique situation, and that's the fact that he's Weiss's father, and Winter's and Whitley's. But despite that, Whitley, especially in the moment, is the only one who seems to have been affected. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it, Jacques is a bad person. But the fact that he was their father almost proved to be a non-factor. Like, if I showed this episode to someone who's never seen it, I doubt that they would pick up on the fact that he is the parent of all of these 3. It never came into play, it never acted as any sort of emotional roadblock. If he were a stranger, the scene wouldn't have played out any differently, and I don't exactly like that. Plus, it all happened so quick, it was like almost no thought went through Weiss in the first place. It was like, got the evidence, hashtag expose, let's arrest him. But it just feels like so many minor things were missing in between these events. I think it would have been so much better if Weiss had pulled Winter aside and told her about this video. The two could have discussed if arresting him would be a wise choice because A, it'd be like, he's our father, should we do this? Obviously, he's a dick, but he's still our father, and the story should utilize its unique opportunity to its fullest, and B, the ramifications of what would happen. Great, Jacques arrested. He's corrupt in more ways than just one. But in doing so, what does that entail for the Schnees? By doing this, is it going to force Whitley into a role he's not fully prepared for, being the heir to the Dust Company? Or is it gonna completely destroy the company and put Whitley and Willow out of business, thus making them poor? Jacques, despite his moralistic ways about doing things, brought a level of stability to certain lives Weiss cares about and, in a way, the world. If the biggest dust company goes under, then their way of business or life gets changed and uprooted. It may indirectly have a negative effect on the rest of the world. You see what I'm saying? It seems like there's just a little bit more thought should have went into the decision. But that's definitely a future plot point it could do. I doubt it, because they're on such a moralistic high ground that nothing so virtuous could ever come to bite them in the ass, because they made the right choice. I'm just saying, a small talk with Winter before it happened could have helped establish Winter's stance on her father and strengthen the overall Schnee plotline before so abruptly stopping it. I don't know how many episodes there are in this season, I would guess 13, but I feel like it ultimately came to a rushed end. Like the show's incapable of taking its time because the climactic battle is about to happen, and this is the more important part that everyone's tuning in for. But this is the meat, the real meat of Weiss's character here, her home, her family, her life, this is it. But it seems like it's been cut short to get back to the spectacle, the fireworks, the flashy imagery, the not substance. Obviously, it's not completely over. Likely there'll be a few more scenes with Whitley and maybe the others of her family, hopefully. But with 4 episodes left, I can't help but feel Weiss's character isn't going to get the attention it deserves. But the scene does not actually end there. After days and days, possibly weeks, I actually have no idea of the time frame between episodes, of hounding Ironwood about telling the truth, making him feel bad, forcing him to question himself, and quite frankly emotionally abusing him, Ironwood finally tells everyone, by everyone I mean 3 other people, about Amity and Salem. And what's everyone else's reaction? Maybe we should tell Ironwood the truth now. Oh, so now's a good time. We didn't tell you this before because we didn't know if we could trust you. It's completely different to what you were doing. You weren't afraid to tell people the truth because you didn't know who you could trust. That's why we hounded you and put you through emotional hell. Completely different motivations. Ironwood, he's the bad guy for keeping truths hidden from those he can't trust. Team RWBY, they're just being careful not to tell someone the wrong information. Oh, RWBY, how I hate you so much. Oscar, you get a pass because I kind of like you a little bit, but you're testing me. Also, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Ironwood want to tell everyone about Salem? Just first he needed the Amity internet online?
Where I finally tell the people about Salem.
Oh right, that is the plan. It's actually the logical plan, because once Amity is in space, the fuck is anyone gonna do about it? What can they do about it? Nothing, that's the answer. So Ironwood wants to keep things on the DL so the plan isn't ruined. Then he'll tell everyone, but no. He's gotta tell everyone now, while the plan can still be tampered with. Way to go. The heroes, everyone. They're so smart. God, how do they do it? Also, this is irrelevant. Why are they in the room? This is a council meeting between council members. It's an A and B conversation. See yourselves out of it. Anyway. The other main bulk of this episode was witnessing what was happening to Mantle and their growing anger. This is such an odd development in the Mantle story. So you're telling me there is this citywide heating system that is keeping the whole of Mantle's exterior, I mind you, warm enough to actually melt the snow falling from the sky, thus turning it to rain. And without this system, everyone is losing their minds. What? Here's a hot idea. I don't know if they've thought of this. I think I may be onto something here. Go inside. Maybe don't stand in the middle of the street as it's snowing and complain about how cold it is. I know you still have electricity. I see the lights on in that house over there. Do you not have a space heater or something? A fire? I know you have that because you're lighting them in the streets. Do you really need this complicated outdoor heating system? It's such an odd development. I don't know what to think. Also, Cinder and Neo are back. Neo heard everything because she was a waiter going in and out of the room, so she knows everything. Way to go, Team RWBY. You really showed Ironwood why speaking of his plans out loud to people, not in the safety of his office, is a good idea. God, though, I wish Neo would just kill Cinder. Get her out of the story. She hasn't done anything for 7 years. She has no story. She's so boring. We had to end the Schnee story for this. Take me back, free Shock from jail, and just go back to the Schnees. Oh, God. In all honesty, this episode is actually pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. But I think it would have benefited from more time, more scenes, but instead they gotta fill that quota, follow that story structure they've been following for all these years. Can't change it, we gotta get to the action. I can't wait to see which character's life is just randomly placed on the verge of death for the sake of tension. It was a perfectly fine episode that I wish there was just more of.